everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We have Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach, and Ernie Graham, CEO of Homebot, on the line here. Today, they're going to cover a few points about the current state of the mortgage industry and some strategies loan officers can use to create client-for-life relationships. Ernie, Dave, take it away.
Thank you for having us.
Dave, thanks for joining us today. I should start by saying a couple of things. This is our first ever, you're our first ever guest on our brand new Facebook channel. Thank you, Dave. Everything we know as it relates to this medium is really you, because you've done, just amazing work with your customers and in the industry of doing these types of events. And you really inspire us to basically use the same medium to do this again. So it would only be appropriate that you would be our inaugural or our very first guest ever on our channel. So thank you for joining us today, Dave.
Well, thank you for having me. And guys, you guys are killing it. I mean, your Facebook group is already like, there's a lot of Facebook groups in the mortgage industry. And I keep my eye on the most popular ones, but I don't learn. I mean, well, I don't want to say I learn from everybody, but already the things you guys are doing, I'm learning from, and you're killing it. So I love your group and I'm honored to be here.
Thanks, man. By the way, you still have the coolest backgrounds of any live stream I've ever seen. That's pretty amazing. That's good stuff.
The Mortgage Coach marketing team, man. We got a great team of designers and leaders here, and thank you, Mortgage Coach team.
All right, well, let's get into this. Dave, you and I, obviously we have spent a lot of time hanging out at these conferences and talking a lot about this stuff. The topic for today is creating client-for-life relationships. I know that it's the topic du jour, if you will, the industry of client-for-life, client-for-life, client-for-life. I want to go in a couple of different directions today with you. You don't know this, but you have said little things on stage and in person with me over the last couple of years that have stuck in my brain. And so I want to start off by talking about some news in the industry that I find very profound in a lot of different ways, and get your take on what you think it means to the industry. And that has to do with the recent news that Quicken is planning to go public. And here's what I will say. As soon as I saw that and I think it was Housing Wire that was showing a headline around that, the very first thing I thought about was you on stage somewhere a couple of years ago telling an audience of LOs that if you're not already thinking about what you're going to do, how your value proposition is going to be different than Amazon or Google or any of these behemoths who have billions of dollars and artificial intelligence and all of this jazz, then you're not long for this world. And I just remember that when you said that on stage, it's like I felt like you struck a chord of fear that said, you better start thinking about that. And then you kind of went into what is your unique value? What does that mean? But how did you think about the Quicken, and does that resonate with you today as much as it did a couple of years ago?
I think it's never been more important. And I heard the acronym WACD from Steve Brown, the former futurist of Intel, has a new book called The Innovator's Imperative. And he's a futurist. And it's like, he didn't come up with the term. I didn't come up with the term. Retailers have been using this term. If you Google it, it's a thing. You got to do what Amazon can't do. And I think in the mortgage and real estate space, we need to put a Z in it, what Amazon and Zillow can't do. And I think while you look at Quicken, they really started this digital arms race when they launched the rocket during the Super Bowl. I think it was 2016 or 2015. That was the arms race. We got to get to the digital experience with the consumer. Thank goodness they did it, because I think it's no longer just a digital mortgage experience. It's the virtual mortgage experience. And I don't think that's going to go away, but it's never been more important. And the company and the mortgage experience that started that digital race is going public. So first thing that comes to my mind is they're going to have more capital. They're going to, whatever their dreams of doing to make this ultimate mortgage experience, they want to go faster, because they don't want to kind of show and disclose everything that a public company needs to do. I'm sure that's always been like, oh, we don't really want to do that. But
Right.
do they want more capital so they could go faster and execute on their dreams? That's why they're going public. And so I think if you're a local referral-based mortgage or real estate professional, you better go faster. You better do the right thing now, or you're going to have trouble ahead.
You know my history, from real estate, where I was an agent or broker, and I ended up running research and development at realtor.com for a few years. And we witnessed Zillow. I mean, we've seen this playbook with Zillow, where they figure out lifetime value of a client, and then they're able to rationalize spending a lot of money on customer acquisition. But it starts with them understanding lifetime value and understanding how to create, eyeballs for life and to keep them in. So once you acquire them once, you keep them. And I think it's really interesting that Quicken has really done a great job from their retention perspective. And so this IPO I think is going to do exactly what you said. It's just going to fuel them to go even more aggressively at acquiring everybody's clients, because they've built a client for life and a retention platform. So the thing that I think is interesting, though, is that both of our businesses, both Mortgage Coach and Homebot, we've always been thematically about supporting the lender in their relationships with people. So again, it comes back to, again, another Davism, which is be the captain of the wealth team. And that's part about bringing the team together to help your clients. So using our technology for the human connection is just something that none of these guys are going to be able to do like you can do in your market with your clients and with the people that are already in your database. So
yeah, no doubt. And I think every lender needs to think about it. Like they figured out those metrics and now they're scaling to it. But let's face it, big banks, they're looking at their app share. What percentage of our customers have downloaded our mobile app? And do we have app share with? Zillow is thinking app share. Quicken is thinking app share. And that's why it's never been important. Anybody that's watching this, anybody that's in our respective communities of Mortgage Coach and Homebot, guys, we're giving you app share. Like when you engage with our platforms, and it really comes down to this race, how many of your families can you get into Homebot so that you have their attention every month, looking at how they're managing the wealth with real estate, and then making sure that when they are like, hey, I want to make a real estate decision, whether it's move up, move down, which is going to accelerate in the virtual economy, I'm able to have that elite experience with Mortgage Coach to make that decision. And so I think the big guys are going to kill it. And I do think the local referral-based realtors and lenders that use our respective technology. And by the way, when I say use it, it doesn't mean you just sign up for it. Like, that's great. We like to be paid, and signing up is phase one. But literally, you talk about it with every family. You talk about it with every realtor. Guys, you got nothing to worry about. But the loan officers that don't, I mean, I think they really need to, be concerned about this.
No doubt about it. And if I reflect back on what Zillow did to the real estate industry, and if I were to try to offer any little, pearls of wisdom to the lending industry, it would be this: that when Zillow started to get into the real estate industry really didn't have any slick technology. I mean, it was like Zillow hit it fast, they hit it hard, and the real estate industry as a whole really stumbled for quite a while trying to understand how to sort of reconcile this type of competitor that they had never seen anything like it before, where it was this consumer empowerment. The consumer, they use the word be on the side of angels. They felt that they had an elevated cause as it related to the empowerment of the consumer, which they kind of did. And it took the real estate industry so long to get it, to get out of the defensive mode and get into the offensive minded. And so here's the thing where I'd like to bridge into this is that with Mortgage Coach, with Homebot, I believe that we've got that we have the right technology to help lenders go to this thermonuclear war that's quick and started with the tech arms race, not with a slingshot, but actually with some ICBMs. Sorry to use this war analogy, but like really empower them with some real slick technology to fight back against the billions of dollars and all the data scientists. And we just, our companies, we, just did this integration. And this is, in a way I think about it, is like when companies like Homebot and Mortgage Coach do an integration, we're saying, one, this, what you do is great, what we do is great. We put it together and it's actually bigger than the simple sum of its parts, which just perpetuates this idea that you've got to have great technology to go to market with. Is that the way you see this?
Absolutely. And I go like one step further. And it's not just because I'm Mr. Mortgage Coach and I'm on the stage with Homebot, is I literally think partnering with us doesn't give you, a game. It gives you the tools to win customers for life. Because here's the deal, guys. The big companies, big banks, national platforms, they're going to kill it rolling out technology, and they're going to kill it with rolling out automation. Everything that can be automated will be automated, period. End of story. But what they can't do is the augmented relationship. You're a local referral-based professional. You're a human being. You can show up on video. We are going to be able to show up in person again and have in-person meetings, but you're a local expert. You're a local human being. And to be able to leverage technologies like ours and deliver this augmented experience. I want everybody to start like putting technology, like what can I automate? And we do. One of the things I love about our integration is there's things that we just automate. You can turn it on in a minute and you can say, hey, the minute the family clicks, they automatically get a TCA. And then you could say, and then you could go in and augment it. You could go in and update it with your human perspective based off that family. You could kind of do something moderate, like, oh, I want it to wait. I think it's like a day or some period of time. But think automation, guys. And then I just want you guys to think, and if you're the leader of a company, that your job is to support your salespeople and help them compete in the mortgage wars. And it absolutely is a war in the mortgage business going forward. You need to not only outfit your people with our technology, but you need to train them how to deliver these augmented mortgage experiences. Anyways, so I agree with you, man.
That's an interesting, you're introducing some vernacular in this tech world. And for everybody watching, it's just like, we see the letters AI, AI, AI. And to kind of put some meat on the bone of what Dave was talking about is like, artificial intelligence is one version of AI. Augmented intelligence is another acronym. The AI is the stuff that, like Dave was talking about, is just the automated, the stuff that can be automated, will be automated. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the augmented goes back to how do you celebrate your humanity? How do you put your humanity at the center of the equation of how you're going to compete with these other guys? Because I can tell you, these big guys, they're going to have AI nailed, but the artificial intelligence nailed. But on the augmented intelligence, you have to have humans. You got to have local humans to pull that off. And again, I just come back to it, Dave. It's like, I feel like we've always had this mission, if you will, that is an augmented mission because we believe in the practitioners. And I don't think it's ever been more important than it is today.
No doubt. And then here's the real threat, guys. For most of the people that are on this call, you're a local referral-based mortgage professional. And yeah, you're going to lose some loans from Quicken. You're going to lose some loans from big bank, local low price credit unions and brokers. And you've got this war going for the consumer. But here's the biggest threat for you guys is that a lot of super smart, connected, referral-based mortgage professionals like you, they're implementing, they're executing, they're already customers of ours. And so you're going to be left in this place where you've got big banks, low rate providers, and then you have super well-armed peers, competitive things. So if you're not if you're not doing this, I mean, you're really left in no man's land. And again, we're here to help you guys get on the team and get armed up and learn how to use it. But I do think the days of like, oh, that's a good idea, but no. I mean, I think you could get through a few more months because it's a refi tidal wave.
Yep.
And if you know how to answer the phone and talk to someone, you're going to get some refis. But the real serious mortgage wars are coming soon.
Yeah, I love that advice too, because there's this aspect of, oh, it's the impending doom, sales pitch, but it's actually real that what you and I both see our customers that are mobilizing to expand their databases and nurture their databases. And I think what a lot of people should know is that if you have 200 people in your database, you don't need 2 million, but you got to be thinking about going from 200 to 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000. You get that many in your database and you can live on that, and you can provide for your family and their family for for generations.
Forever. Yeah.
Forever.
Snowball mortgage practice.
You don't need hundreds of millions, but you do need to take it from 200 to the first step. You got to take it from 200 to 300 to 400. And if you're not going to do that, somebody else will. And I think to your point, Dave, it's either going to be the well-mobilized customers that we already have, because we see them every day, how aggressively they're expanding their database. And now you've got the banks who are wanting back in. They're going to spend a bunch of money. And like we were talking about earlier on the Quicken side as well, got to expand your database.
So here's a couple just tactical goals I'd give anybody watching this in our respective communities. I've never met a loan officer that says, oh, I want to close less than 50 loans a year. Like, 30 is good enough for me. And by the way, I do know there are people that want to do that. So I have met them, but I'm trying to make a point. Most loan officers want to close. I want to close at least 5 loans a month, 50 loans a year. And most loan officers are like, gosh, closing 100 loans a year would be awesome. And so that's like, let's just say the most common goal that people have in the mortgage business. If I could close 100 loans a year, I'd be accomplishing all my financial goals. So to do that, you need 1,000 families in Homebot. You need at least 1,000 families in Homebot, because we know the constant prepayment rate, and people are going to buy and sell homes. People are going to refinance. If you get 1,000 people into Homebot, and then you get every single one of those families has gotten a total cost analysis experience. I've been telling to the mortgage coach community for a long time, it's no longer good enough to have a past client. It's like, hey, I had to have a past client that gave me a review and gave me a referral. Like, those should be your first goals in process. Get a referral from that client, and at the close of process, you got an online review. And then you're getting everybody into Homebot. Hopefully you did that in the pre-approval phase, because while Homebot is the client for life platform, guys, if you have pre-approved buyers, you want to get them into the Homebot experience as fast as you can. And then, guys, it's that simple. It's like those 5 things: get a review, get a referral, get them into Homebot, give them a TCA, work really hard to get to 1,000 of those. And here you have a small snowball mortgage practice that will last you a decade or more. It's that simple. Like, you are in a business, regardless of what happens with Quicken, regardless of what happens with Zillow, regardless of what big banks do. If you could follow that playbook, the best years of the mortgage industry are ahead.
I love that. I think that's a great formula for success. And when you were talking about that, it made me think about a stat in the industry as it relates to your clients and referrals. And one of the stats, the first stat, which I think is really important people understand, is that on average, 70% of your past clients forget your name after a year, or actually it's technically 13 months. 13 months after a transaction, 7 out of 10 of your clients can't even remember your name. Now, here's another cool one. Over 80% of referrals happen in the first year after you close a deal. Now, why might that be? Well, because they can remember your name, but there's something else that we've sort of discovered in some of our research, is that it's not just about name recall. There's a halo effect around the transaction. that is a positive halo. If I close a deal, if I'm Dave's loan officer, we've closed it. Dave doesn't just remember my name. He remembers my name because of the value that I just created for him. So if you do his 5 things, the point is that with the systems like, Homebot and Mortgage Coach, is that 10 months, 12 months, and 13 months, instead of them falling out of being referral sources, you keep them activated as referral sources because they don't just know your name. This is a shift that's been happening over the last 5 years, 10 years, where it used to be good enough to just get people to remember your brand. It's not good enough anymore. You have to associate value. And then the challenge is, well, how do I deliver value if I'm not closing a deal? Well, that's where I think you got to take a closer look at the technology and how is it constantly providing value. Now, Dave, with your permission, what I'd like to do real quick, because I'd like us to end on sort of some messaging around refi and how this is a really important time. But I'd like to show our integration, if that's okay with you.
No, I hate showing our little integration. Of course, I want to do that. Let's do it. Let's
All
show
right.
them how to set it up and let's show them what it looks like.
So let's come back over here. So for those of you who don't currently use Homebot, this is what Homebot looks like. It's a digital dashboard, a financial dashboard for the home value loans. There's a ton of great intelligence in here. There's that little refi. It's all personalized and private for each one of your clients or prospects. So this is what they get addicted to. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just going to slide down here into the refi module though, because I want to show you how how slick this Mortgage Coach integration is. So this refi module is omnipresent. So whether someone is in the money with a refi or not, it's always there because the numbers are always changing. Sometimes it might show options that aren't so great, but the point is that it creates a cadence with your clients around the way this is always moving around. So when there is a lot of green on their screen, as we like to say, that they are a transaction ready customer for you. But here's where it gets fun. Now, first of all, people can say, oh, I'm only going to live in my home for 5 years. So then Homebot is pulling in average rates and that sort of thing. So if they come in and say, this 5-1 ARM sounds interesting to me, what's my rate? Well, if it's integrated, if the LO who's using Homebot has connected their Mortgage Coach account to this, and they say, get a detailed breakdown, and then you can see what's happening here right now, right there, it then connects to Mortgage Coach and creates a TCA on the fly. Now, Dave, I noticed you said something there for a second. It's like, there's different ways to configure this. You can put the safety on, you can take the safety off. So you can set this up, and I'll show that here in a second, in a way to where it doesn't allow your clients to immediately look at the TCA, and it gives you an opportunity to check it out before they see it. So there's lots of ways you can figure it. I just did it this way in demo because I think it's a lot more fun and easier to show this way. But the point is that right there from Homebot, they can go in and say, oh, wait a minute, that's a 5-1. I really want to look at that 25-year. Boom, they click that. They say, let's do it. And then guess what? Now that's now adding that to the TCA. So this Homebot is designed to basically be a TCA machine. How many TCAs can you create for your customers? And as I know, Dave, you've done a great job of messaging, is more TCAs means more service, means more transactions, more TCAs, more TCAs. So before I show the setup on that, Dave, I'd love for you to lean into this a little bit, share your thoughts about the integration.
So first of all, everybody who is a mutual client of ours, you need to turn this on like yesterday. Takes less than a minute. And it is a refi machine. So it's going to take your entire custom database, all the value you're currently getting from Homebot, but now your family gets the TCA. So I think that's a no-brainer, and that's passive, 1 minute, and it's active, and your consumers get this experience. I want to give you guys a script, and I promise everybody that implements what I'm going to say next, I promise you 1 extra loan over the next 2 weeks. And at a minimum, and for those of you that have a big active pipeline of clients, this could be 5 or more loans over the next 2 weeks. And I got the idea from Jeremy Forcier. So first of all, guys, you got to introduce this at the point of sale. Like, this is part of your value prop to optimize conversion. Like, hey, doing business with me, not only are we going to close your loan on time, have great rates, blah, 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 like every other loan officer, but I'm going to manage your mortgage over time. You've shown them a TCA to make the decision. You should be talking about Homebot at the point of sale so they know that you're managing their equity over time and you're giving them value. So let's assume that you did that at the point of sale, which will improve your conversion and improve your referrals during the process. But here's the script, guys. When they say thank you during the process of the loan, usually that's at clear to close, that's at approval. You're going to send a super simple email just saying, I love helping you. Remember, it's about the timing. They said thank you, you set the stage, and then you're going to say, can you help me with something? My goal is to work with more people like you. Can you think of any 2 people that I should know or that I can help in the future? And if they really like that Homebot, that would like to help me manage their equity. So here's the deal, guys. I know for a fact this works because I've interviewed Jeremy Forcier multiple times. I'll put a link after we get done with this. I'll put a link in our group so you guys can check out a 2-minute video. And then I've talked about this from stage enough that I know that everybody that's implementing this is just raking in loans. So like after this call, I want you to start doing this script with every single client in process. So you're building people under management in Homebot while they're in process and you're getting referrals. So you're going to win on the front end, and you're going to win on the back end. So quick thought. Let's show them how to set it up, Ernie.
You bet. Come over here. So
and guys, if you have a question, I will look in the group and we will air. Anyone that's listening to us live will answer your questions. And if you're listening to the recording of this and you have a question, put it in comments and Ernie and I or someone on our team will make sure your question gets answered.
So, all right, Dave. So if you're a Homebot customer, we've got a little customize tab so you can add all the third-party products.
I love that.
And so let's come down here to Mortgage Coach. You can see I'm already connected. So I'm just going to disconnect. I know everybody kind of gets freaked out about that. Somebody goes, oh man, I don't want to disconnect. It's going to take a lot to reconnect it. So all I have to do is, again, if I'm a Homebot LO, I come into customize, I go to Mortgage Coach, I go right there and I say, okay, my Mortgage Coach account email is Ernie@homebot.ai. And my Mortgage Coach API key, well, that's pretty easy. I'm just going to come over here to Mortgage Coach. Sorry about this. I should have had this set up.
So it looks like he's got it on our screen, guys. So he's going into Mortgage Coach.
Yeah, actually, let me do it right here. This will be better. Sorry about that. Mortgage.
And when Ernie and I first showed this, I timed him and it took like 90 seconds, 90 seconds to do this. But look at this, guys. He's logging in. He doesn't even use Mortgage Coach all the time. He's going to our website. He's clicking on the advice engine login. I mean, this is like starting from scratch. And you'll see that this is going to be less than a couple minutes to have this thing turned on. Log into Mortgage Coach.
All right, so I just log into Mortgage Coach. I come over here to settings. I click on contact. I scroll down just a wee bit. There's my Mortgage Coach API key. All I'm doing is right clicking on that and copying it. And then you guessed it, I'm just come right over here. I'm pasting that sucker in there. Now check this out. You see with the sending options where it says review before, that's what I was talking about earlier. I can say review before Homebot sends the TCA, no review, client immediately, or you could just send it yourself. I'll set this to no review right now, save and finish, boom. Guess what? I just connected my Homebot to my Mortgage Coach and all of that functionality just works magically. I didn't say this, but anytime someone even generates a TCA, Homebot sends you a text and an email. So I know when the TCA, if I'm an LO, and actually, I don't know if you can see that, but he says right there, Holly homeowner wants to learn more about a 25-year fixed. Before she even looks at the TCA, I know that she created the TCA through this integration. And then of course, Mortgage Coach lets you know when she's looked at that TCA. So a lot of great clickstream intelligence here to let you out, do your own outreach when you think it's the right time to reach out to these clients. But it really couldn't be any easier, Dave.
Yeah, and something else I'd push everybody to do in our respective communities is this is a true innovation for the consumer. If you have, using both of our platforms, if you have integrated them, you have done something that's worth bragging about on social media. You've done something that's worth bragging about to your partners. And you've definitely done something that will give you a competitive advantage if you talk about it to every single client and you get them into the platform. You get them into the TCA experience, you get them into the Homebot. So for all you progressive marketers in our respective communities, we'd love to see what you're doing on social media, how you're talking about us. Please share that in one or both of our groups so that we can, we can see what you're doing and then we can shine a light on it in the whole community. So this is absolutely an innovation for families in America to have, both of our products activated.
I think that's a great point, Dave. And, something I've learned just over the last several weeks as it relates to refi, and I'm going to share something from a few years ago. So when we first started Homebot, our first customers, when they were talking about Homebot, when another lender would ask them, what is Homebot? They said, oh, it's like this refi machine. And I hated it when they said that. And I spent the last 3 years saying, no, it's client for life. It helps you engage with your clients. It's not just about refi. It's about purchase. It's about referrals. It's about So in the last 90 days, guess who's calling it a refi machine again? And it's interesting when I've found myself saying, whoa, the refi machine, if you will, what does that really mean? Well, obviously there's currency around that in the now, where we know that there's 5 or 10 million refi candidates out there. That basically means a big chunk of your database is refi eligible, and you need to get to them